Your Thursday today, brought to you by Wimmer Opticians along with Chiropractic Connection, as we today welcome in the crew from Stearns County Soil and Water, Dennis Fuchs and Dennis and friends. It would be Dennis and guests, Dennis and coworkers today?
Yes, Dennis and coworkers.
I like it.
Yeah, these people get the work done. Ben Ruley, our GIS specialist in the office, and Brittany Lenzmeier, our outreach coordinator for the office. Awesome people. We wanted to share some additional information, and I'm sure the listeners are wondering, where's Chris Hogue? God, we miss him so much.
Are they, though?
Yeah.
Sorry.
We haven't been able to talk about Iowa for so long.
Pot shot at Chris. Yeah. The ranked Iowa State Cyclones, I'm sure Chris wouldn't bring that up at all during Partyline.
No, not Chris.
What has he been up to?
Well, Chris is taking a new job. He's going to be moving out to Devil's Lake, North Dakota, and he's going to be doing more stuff with NRCS as a regional manager for all of the NRCS offices in that Devil's Lakes and as you head east in North Dakota. So he's pretty excited.
So he's got a fishing spot for you.
Well, I hope so. Yeah. We'll have to get out there this summer and check how he's doing. But his last day in our office is going to be December 13th, and hopefully we can get him out here for one more show. We'll have to see. But it's a great opportunity for him and his wife to move out there. He's an empty nester now, and he's looking forward to the move.
I never thought I'd say I will actually miss him, I think.
Yeah, he is a fun guy to have in the office.
He was. All right, to bigger and better things. Ben, why don't you take, we're going to go ladies first, being it's pointed that way. Brittany Lenzmeier, I've emailed you many a time. It's nice to meet you.
Yeah, it's nice to meet you.
Brittany, how long have you been with Soil and Water?
It'll be 5 years in December.
Okay, and your role?
Outreach coordinator, so I get to do all the communications, event planning, and all the outreach efforts for the district.
Half-hour email programs from KASM Radio. You receive them and put them online?
Yeah, absolutely.
There we go. Did you, college, where'd you go to college?
Yep, so I'm actually a Stearns County native. I grew up on a farm east of St. Martin, and now we farm that with my parents.
Awesome.
And so, true born and bred Stearns County.
I'm doing my topography east of St. Martin, like closer to Paynesville, halfway?
Yeah, so between Spring Hill and St. Martin.
Spring Hill and St. Martin.
Yep.
Gotcha.
Paynesville High School graduate.
Yep.
Go Bulldogs.
Go Bulldogs. My dad was a Bulldog, so saw plenty of green in growing up.
Yep.
And then, so high school at Paynesville, college.
Yep. So then I went on to University of Wisconsin, River Falls.
Okay.
For my Bachelor of Science degree in Agricultural Marketing and Communications, and ended up back here in Stearns County. Met a farm boy in Stearns County, and the rest is history.
Awesome. That's been known to happen.
Yep.
I always like asking. High school science teacher told you you'd be good at this. You went to college without a major and found this, or how'd you get down that ag science path?
Yep. So I was an FFA, and FFA was a large portion of my high school career, and I knew I wanted to pursue something in agriculture. I started with agricultural business and realized math is not my strong suit, so that was not the right path. And then discovered the agricultural communications major in the ag science department college, and so it was a very good fit, and very fortunate to be able to work in my home county and doing something that I'm very passionate and love doing every day.
Did you start in Stearns County right away, or did you do some interning elsewhere?
Yep, so I actually took a job with the Paynesville newspaper when I got right out of college.
The press.
Yep, and did that for a couple months and then moved on to another career.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Gotcha. So 5 years, you said, at Stearns County Soil and Water?
Yep.
Picking on Dennis on a daily basis. You're up to like 1,400 days or something like that, picking on Dennis. That's nice. Loving it?
Yeah, absolutely.
Good crew?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Gonna miss Chris?
Sure.
Love it. Dennis, talk about the asset that Brittany is at Soil and Water.
Oh, we never had an outreach coordinator at the Soil Water Conservation District.
Nice. There's nothing to compare you to.
Yeah, so
Absolutely.
And what we're realizing is how important it is, and how much the outreach efforts that Brittany has done has really enhanced the delivery of news, of programs available to our landowners. And we've got more people coming in our office, and it's like now we got to bring on more staff to keep up with all the work that Brittany's sending our way. So it's just been a fantastic addition to the team, and Brittany's just a great team player.
When you talk, Brittany, about the growth, basically, yes, we are in Stearns County, but people are still relevant when it comes to news articles and stuff like that, and getting that information out there. Was it kind of an untapped resource that you felt when you got to the office to try to deliver that information and things like that to the local growers?
Absolutely, yeah. It's something that the district didn't have before, and now I've been able to do outreach through mailings and newsletters and social media and just grow our presence all throughout the county and put more of a name to our organization.
How would local growers know that Dennis's underwear was being buried without newsletters, right?
Exactly, or social media, yeah.
You need that information to get out there.
Yeah.
Brittany,
And just having a bigger presence at events. I mean, like at the farm show last year, we had the underwear on display, so it's just a great opportunity to engage with the public.
middle school nightmare relived. Underwear on display.
Right?
Dennis? Yeah.
Sell your undies.
That's good. Well, Brittany, welcome aboard. We have more to come with you. Ben, why don't we'll do the meet and greet with you. Mr. Ruley, how long have you been with Soil and Water?
It'll be 14 years in January.
That's a nice shift.
Yeah.
Local guy?
My mom grew up in Bolus.
Okay.
I was actually born in North Carolina.
Sure.
My mom was in the Army, stationed down there at Fort Bragg, and met my dad, who was from the state of Virginia. Got married. I was born back in Minnesota when I was like 1.5. So
okay.
Minnesota's all I've ever known, but we were in the cities, Detroit Lakes, Aiken's where I graduated, finished school down at St. Cloud State. Actually, my last year of school, I interned at the Soil and Water office, so I met Dennis a long time ago when I was a wee young lad.
Never gave that key back, did you?
Well, I did. I interned there, but I didn't start working there right after that. I actually worked in private engineering for about 8 years in the St. Cloud area.
Okay.
Doing GIS mapping, CAD work, survey, and then when a position opened up at Soil and Water, basically to do all those types of things, I had the opportunity to hop over, and yeah, been here ever since.
I give him grief a lot with acronyms. What's GIS mapping?
Geographical Information Systems.
Okay.
So again, when you think about like what we do, and Brittany talking about outreach, it's like, where do we need to work? Who do we need to outreach to? Where are there potentially issues that we can assist landowners with? We got to map all those things, and then when we get things done, we got to keep track of what was accomplished and where. And state has all these complex reporting requirements,
Yeah.
so a lot of that's tied into, like, say, that mapping side. And I also do the IT work at our office, so
Sure.
ordering computers and keeping.
You tell
things
Dennis
running.
to turn it off and turn it back on a lot.
I do.
Yeah.
Reboot it.
50% of the time, it works every time. And then I also built like a database in the last few years at our office. Again, the tracking and the reporting has just gotten so complex. We needed like a new system. So now we have this nice online system our staff can access and keep track of our landowners we're working
Sure.
with and progress of our projects. And yeah.
Did you have environmental background growing up? Outdoor kid?
Yeah, not a hunter, but a fisherman.
Sure.
Did a lot of that and camped a lot growing up. And I always knew I wanted to do something kind of with the environment. And my degree is in environmental studies. I graduated from St. Cloud State with the GIS, that mapping
Sure.
minor, which once I found out about that, I knew I really wanted to do that. So, like say when I got a job in private, I was able to do that mapping and just kind of keep developing my skills in that, and was able to carry that onto the Soil and Water.
In 14 years at Soil and Water, I mean, so you're just 30 years behind Dennis in the office, basically. Has it been... That wasn't that far off, by the way.
Yeah, you're
But great place to be. A spot that you've grown to love.
Yep, I'd say whenever I work somewhere, you want to be proud of the people that you work with, and just always had great staff, great leader. Can I say that about Dennis? Is that okay?
You already said it, so I mean,
Yeah, it's out there.
I don't know.
Yeah,
Brittany,
no,
I'll delete that from the recording. We'll see if we can get that out.
I don't think I would have stuck it out this long, and wouldn't have a plan to stick it out a lot longer if I didn't really think we were doing good work and felt like I was working with good people.
Sure.
So, yeah.
Fuji, sing Ben's praises for me.
Ben is his skills in our office is not only seeked by each and every one of the SWCD, but also of our USDA, NRCS, and FSA partners. His skills with networking and the computers and the software, you just don't see that. And if we have problems, Ben. So he's got
Sick of your name, Ben.
he's
Some
got
days.
he's got a list of things to do every day, and to that list we add another dozen computer problems or software problems that he needs to troubleshoot for us. So we are so fortunate here at the USDA Service Center in Way Park to have Ben. Each and every one of us appreciate the support he provides. Because if our computers are down, or if the software isn't working, or if the server isn't connecting to us, we're just dead in the water.
Yep.
I mean, we need those tools to get our jobs done. And having a person like Ben with his skills is unbelievably important, and every office should have somebody like Ben, but not everyone does. So we're damn lucky to have him here in Wade Park.
Technology, our friend till it's not, right, Ben?
Yep, exactly.
And, getting that operating system back up and running just to be an asset to the local growers and stuff like that. Take a lot of pride to make sure these guys are able to have contacts and outreach and stuff.
Oh, absolutely. The cool thing about, like, say, doing mapping and the IT is I get to work with all of our staff. Like, say, when we're doing outreach efforts, I help pull mailing lists together and work with Brittany to figure out, what's the best way to come up with that list of landowners that, we possibly could help. And when other staff are doing projects, delineating out watersheds, where's all this water coming from that maybe is causing that erosion problem? It's just really cool to get to work with kind of everybody in our office. I also do get to work with landowners directly.
Awesome.
Dennis kind of put me in charge of the buffer law when that initially came out in 2015 and then went into effect in 2017. Again, kind of the mapping aspect, we had to look at all the parcels that were affected in the county and let landowners that may have had a compliance issue the state was going to get on them about, make them aware of that, and then offer them assistance and let them know their options to get into compliance and what the law allowed as far as flexibility. And that's still ongoing, so I still get to work with landowners on that program. I wouldn't say it's the funnest program to work on, but it's there. The law is still in effect. It's still being enforced, and so periodically landowners come in and out of compliance, or there's always, it's going to be an evolving and ongoing thing as long as that law is in existence.
Keeping up with it and still having that asset for the local growers.
Periodically we have to do on a 3-year cycle. We need to kind of look at every parcel, and if anybody runs into any kind of compliance concern, do outreach to them. And again, it's just you're always starting at that base level of teaching them about the law, letting them know all their options and what flexibility is there, and then working them through that whole process.
I was shocked to hear Dennis delegated that to you. Seems like he would take that on his own. We have more to come on Sarah's Partyline. Ben Ruley on Sarah's Partyline here on your Thursday. Partyline brought to you by Wimmer Opticians and Chiropractic Connection. We have Brittany Lenzmeier, Ben Ruley, as well as Dennis Fuchs in studio with Stearns County Soil and Water. And Dennis, did I interrupt Ben in the middle of he was doing some important announcing?
Yeah, he wanted to give the listeners an update on the buffer program and where we're at with that. And then also he wanted to talk a little bit about the public waters inventory, which kind of drives the whole buffer program. The DNR will be working on some updates there. He was just going to share that information with the listeners. I bet the listeners are very excited to hear what's going on with the buffer program.
He was going to, or he was instructed to?
Well,
10 seconds ago.
Part of the reason why he showed up.
Yeah. All right. The floor is yours.
All right. I mean, I just feel it's a public service, to make sure landowners are aware of what's going on with this. When the law first came, there was a big to-do. I mean, it was in every newspaper. You heard it on the radio a lot. There was a lot of questions, concerns. I mean, now we're quite a few years into this. Just to be aware that the Minnesota buffer law is still there, still being enforced. Kind of the generality of it is these waters, we reference the public water inventory. So there's a specific database of waters that have been listed as being public to the state. For like a stream or a channel, those are the big ones. The law says it's considered a public water if there's at least 2 square miles draining to it. So again, it's not like these little tiny side channels, but they want it to protect these bigger channels. And then obviously our lakes, and then wetlands, kind of our deeper wetlands, if they're at least 10 acres, they're considered public waters of the state. Doesn't mean that somebody can just go out onto your property and access them. I mean, you still got trespassing laws, but it's just that the DNR has some oversight. They don't want people in there ripping them up, changing them a bunch. And then when they passed this Minnesota buffer law, it applies to those waters. And what it said was you needed a 50-foot buffer of permanent vegetation around these, provide some filtration of things running into them, keep your banks stable. So that was kind of the baseline for a public water. You need 50-foot of buffer. Now, I say, thank goodness they did write into the law. There was some flexibility on that 50-foot if you wanted the soil and water to come out and look at it. They call that an alternative practice plan. The kind of the 2 options you can end up with, we can go from 50 down to a 30 if we run it through some tools that USDA has established for a filter strip. And if your watershed's not too big, your soils aren't too erosive, the banks aren't, or the slopes aren't too steep, most of the time in this area, at least of the state, a 30-foot will still meet what the state is required. Now, again, it takes some extra steps. We got to coordinate meeting with the landowner, visit the site, kind of go through a process, and we are happy to do that.
Yeah.
like I say, we want landowners to know what flexibility is allowed in there. I mean, we want to protect these waters. That's what the law is intending to do. But we also don't want to take land out of production. That's not necessary. There also are a lot of places where the land is sloping away from the channel. And the landowners will say, why do I need a 50-foot buffer? The water's not even running into the channel there. Well, in those cases, we actually can sign off potentially on a 16.5-foot buffer, a 1-rod buffer. And that's the minimum. And we have a lot of plans in the state that are in the county that are 30 or 16.5 or some combination. To date, we actually have done alternative practice plans on 272 parcels. So, I mean, there's in every one of those.
Just a couple, yeah.
Just a couple. It was a lot of work. We did it, over time, and we're still working on them. When we see issues or if a landowner can still request it, hey, I've had 50 in this whole time, but I heard about these alternative practices. I'm just curious, is there a potential that we could go a little less and maybe get a few more rows of crops in based on some of these things? And yeah, we can look at that at any time. So even if you just always had the 50, but you're just curious of maybe what options are available to you, just contact the Soil and Water Office and let them know you have some questions about the buffer law, and you'll either end up with me or with Jake Clays in our office as the other buffer law specialist.
So, Ben, the state crossed their T's and dotted their lowercase J's on this, but with the kind of case-by-case nature of it, would you recommend local growers to get a hold of you just to get everything ironed out, make sure that they're in the know?
Yeah, we can verify at any time, answer any questions they have on that. Yep, absolutely.
Okay.
And like I say, we still get calls. Just got a call yesterday. Again, this thing has been around forever, but things come up. Land's always been in compliance. Suddenly, farming operations change. New owners come in and they make some modifications, and all of a sudden their potential issues arise or questions. And kind of along the same lines is, this hasn't been the funnest part of my job, but since the law wrote soil and waters in as kind of this intermediate, I mean, I take some pride in trying to be that local level that we can offer assistance to landowners, help them through the process, and like I say, make sure they're aware of their options. But like I say, keeping landowners aware of this is really important, and we're actually just getting ready to send out a couple big batches of letters to landowners. One of them is all these landowners that have had these alternative practice plans, we're sending them another copy. Some of them did it 7-8 years ago. Sometimes maybe there's probably been land changes, so maybe the new owners haven't seen this. So again, we're just sending those out so that they're aware of what their plans are, make sure they're still following them. We're also sending out a little over 300 letters to landowners who are in compliance, but may not be aware that ditch or that channel running through their property is a public water.
Sure.
Right now they have enough buffer, but they decide to modify their fields a little bit. All of a sudden they get themselves into potential concerns. So again, just more of an informational thing. So like I say, some of you guys may be seeing that in your mail. It says clearly, you're in compliance. This is just to make you aware. And then
a heads up. Yeah.
Again, if they have questions or they do want to modify maybe those field boundaries, they can contact our office and we can answer any questions they might have.
Brittany, in the mailing process, you can spin the microphone over, does every kind of land owner, you send that to all of them, basically?
Nope. So it's usually in our office we have targeted areas and priority areas, thanks to Ben and his skill level with the GIS programming and our database. So it's usually in a priority area, or if we're focusing on an outreach event or something like that. So it's always usually some type of targeted mailing.
So if you're getting it, this isn't junk.
Correct.
There's a reason that's in your mailbox.
Yes, and I would highly encourage you to take the time to read what we're sending you, because we have a lot of great information to share, and we're here to our folks in our office are here to help landowners with technical and financial assistance if it's available. So we're here to help you help the land.
Yeah. And Fuji, when you hear about stuff like this, and a guy like Ben who's got all the angles covered, and basically it's nice knowing that it's in good hands.
Oh yeah, Ben is so good at working with landowners. He understands the stresses that they're facing, and we're stuck in between the state rule and the landowner implementing the changes that need to happen.
Middleman.
Yeah, he's the middleman, and I couldn't put a better person out there to visit with landowners. He just does such a wonderful job understanding that, this is a lot of stress for them. They've been farming this potentially for generations, and now things have to change. So he really does a nice job, and these alternative practices where we can reduce that buffer from 50 down to potentially 16.5 feet if we're not impacting the resource, really helps the landowner along.
Nice work, Ben.
Thank you. I'm glad I can help.
Did you have any other pertinent things? I've never had you in here, so you got to have a laundry list of stuff you got to update us on.
I guess just, again, related to the buffer law, we talked about these public waters. You'll probably be hearing some things in the news about this effort that the DNR is going through right now to update the public waters inventory. It was originally established about 40 years ago in the early 80s is when the original maps were drawn up saying, this meets the state definition of a public water and is, again, impacted. DNR has jurisdiction, and now the buffer law applies. But obviously over the years, things have meandered, things have changed. You look at these old maps, and as we were working through a lot of this process, you'd look at something and say, this doesn't make any sense. It says there's a public water here, and there's literally no channel in this field anymore.
So a little outdated?
Outdated. I'm guessing technology at the time was a limitation of how accurate they could do these things. Now, I don't foresee that it's going to be a big change in the county. I think it's just going to be little tiny things here and there. Maybe this little piece is no longer considered a public water. There is the potential that something could be added on. What the state's been directed to do is nothing's changing as far as the definition of a public water. That 2 square miles of drainage needs to be going to that, or that wetland needs to be big enough. It's just making sure that it reflects what's actually in the field and on the ground these days. So I don't see a lot of changes, but if something in Stearns County changes and it affects a landowner, will be that, I guess, probably first contact to talk to them and hopefully make them aware. Now, it's about an 8-year process because they're going through the whole state.
Sure.
I think they said they're trying to do about 12 counties a year. I don't know where Stearns is going to fall in that, but they did say as part of this process, before anything is finalized, there will be public information released. There'll be a public hearing in every county. People can provide feedback, ask questions, kind of through that whole gamut before things are finalized. So, again, it's going to take time, but I'm sure, especially once they get to Stearns, we'll hear a lot more about it. And again, between me and Brittany and our office, we'll try to share as much information as possible just so people are aware. You're going to want to ask those questions and get those comments in when the opportunity arises, because eventually once they finalize things, obviously that makes it a lot harder to question or challenge things. So we'll do our best to keep landowners updated on what's happening.
And you have no idea of the batting order, how the state's going to go, if wetter counties or drier county? Just
no, not yet. They just announced this update, just this fall, late summer. So it's
new.
They've been directed to do it, and they're kind of working through what that process is going to be. And so we don't have a ton of information yet either. But again, we'll keep getting that information out once we know more, so our residents can be aware and be active if they need to be in that process. So
adapting to government implementation. What? Who would have ever thought? Dennis, did you have any events coming around the corner?
Well, I would say let's visit with our outreach coordinator and see what's coming up.
Would she potentially know?
Yeah, let's visit with her, see if she's got something.
Where are we burying Dennis's underwear this winter, Brittany?
Well, it might be a little challenging if the ground is frozen, but hopefully we'll have a little bit of a colder winter than we did last year. We'll get some moisture in the ground.
Sure.
But one event we do have coming up that we're part of, it's not till February. It's the Woman in Ag Network Conference. It's going to be held on Tuesday, February 11th at the Park Event Center in Waite Park. And so some information is available on the University of Minnesota Extension's website. So we're still in the planning phases of what we want to talk about and what kind of workshops we want to bring to this event. But just,
is this a new event?
Nope, they've had it for the last couple of years.
Okay.
So it's solely focused for women in agriculture. So it's a really unique and cool opportunity for women to come together and share their stories, learn about different things like investing in estate planning, ag marketing, emergency awareness, managing social presence, carbon markets, well-being, and USDA information, and so much more.
Sure. So it's a great opportunity for the women in the area to congregate together and to talk about potential growth and stuff like that?
Absolutely. Yep.
And a place for the single male farmers to potentially hit on chicks. And that was a bad joke. Sorry.
Well, Mavericks is right next door.
Right when you said Park Event Center, I know where his mind went right away. The nearest watering hole would be Mavericks.
Yep,
right
yep, absolutely, yeah. So there's still some information to be coming yet, including the cost and the registration. So just look on our social Facebook page and our newsletter and the Woman in Ag Network Conference on the University of Minnesota Extension website.
Sure. Any other events?
I do want to share another one. It's also another Woman in Agriculture event for some supporting partners that we work with quite often is Benton Soil and Water and Sherburne SWCD are having a Woman in Agriculture event on December 12th. and it's at Coyote Moon Grill, and it's an opportunity for women, again, to come and hang out and learn about soil health. And also there's an opportunity to make a winter centerpiece by Jan's Christmas trees. So those winter pots that you see outside, there's an opportunity for folks to do that. So it's a free event. So we encourage you to RSVP by December 4th. And you call our office, we can certainly get you hooked up with that. Otherwise, if you're interested, you can contact Benton or Sherburne SWCD offices.
It's cool too that the Tri-County kind of working together on that one, hoping for a nice turnout.
Yeah, it's really great to be able to work with so many different partners and be able to come together on so many events. And we're all here to help producers and encourage the adoption of conservation on land. So it's really great when partners can come together and make that happen.
You gonna hit both of them, Brittany?
I'm gonna try. Well, for sure the one, but we'll see what the weather does on December 12th.
Sure. Great opportunities coming around the corner, and it's nice. I know it's obviously a slower season, Dennis, but still having those chances to get out and get some networking done.
Oh yeah. And Brittany's also been very busy with our rebranding of the Stearns County Soil Water Conservation District. You want to talk a little bit about some of the things you've been working on with our rebrand?
Yeah, absolutely. So we recently went through a rebranding process. So we are in the works of updating our logo. So we have a new approved logo that will be.
What's Dennis going to do with all of his button-ups?
Well, they're vintage now, so they might be worth something.
I'm going to have to auction them off.
Yeah. So we're slowly starting to roll that out in our office. So we just sent out our newsletter yesterday, so you might have already seen a sneak peek of it, but it'll be coming out through the next couple of months here through our outreach materials, our Facebook page, clothing, things like that. So it's a new simplified logo that we're really excited about, and then we're also going to be rolling out a new website. So that's happening on the back end of. So our current website is still functioning, but we're in the works of building a new one out. So
and there'll be a forward to it from the old one.
Yep.
Obviously.
Yep.
And you were in charge of the graphic design on the new logo.
No, we actually hired that out. I do not have a skill to
Not
design.
the artistic bone in you.
Correct.
Gotcha.
Correct.
Just a big SWCD. They didn't take that.
Yeah.
Didn't take that entry.
Yeah. So we've been fortunate to work with an outside contractor to develop that logo, and then Ben has been a part of that process as well as a few other folks in our office. So really cool to be able to bring a new fresh face to the SWCD. And
well, I was going to say it was just time. You were due for an update, basically, on the logo.
Yeah, so we celebrated our 75th anniversary this year. So
there we go.
So we wanted to, make a kind of a big statement with that, and what a better opportunity to be able to bring that forward and reflect on the last 75 years and continue planning for the next 75 years.
Gotcha.
So a new fresh logo, new fresh colors, new branding altogether, just to reinforce our brand and make it even more well known about who we are and what we're doing.
Yeah, and great opportunity to maybe get someone to buy some new polos or something
Absolutely.
like that.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Well, we'll keep our tabs on that. Dennis, we have 5 minutes left. With there's been rumblings that this will be your 6th last Partyline with me.
That's correct.
Retirement coming around the corner.
Yep.
At your young age.
Yeah. May of 2025.
I've never called you young on this show.
That feels so fresh. I like
the
that.
new SWCD logo.
Yes.
Nice and fresh.
It's all part of the rebranding. I'm going to be leaving in May of 2025.
Yeah. Isn't that under the logo? No longer Dennis, a Dennis Fuchs free zone, basically.
But actually, Mark Lefebvre on our team, who's been there for almost a couple decades, he'll be leaving in March of 2025, and we're working on backfilling his position internally. And
you said no Mark, no Dennis.
Yeah, exactly.
That's the rule.
Yeah. So we're working on that first, and then we also have a supervisor, Matt Bruette, who will be moving out to California next spring. So we'll be backfilling that supervisor position, which will either going to be a special election or somebody that we can identify, and the board. The SWCD board would appoint somebody to fill that position. So I'll just name the townships that Matt represents, and if anybody's interested in becoming an SWCD supervisor, they certainly can reach out to me and let me know that they're interested, and we can work you into the system. We'll probably have an interview process to to get this accomplished. But those townships include Paynesville, Farming, Collegeville, Munson, Wakefield, Eden Lake, and Luxembourg. So there's a lot of good townships there, and if you're interested, don't be afraid to give me a call at 320-251-7800, extension 3, and tell me you'd like to talk to Dennis about becoming an SWCD supervisor.
Good opportunity. Nice chance for people to get some great networking, some growth.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And speaking of committees and taking on responsibilities like that, the Farm Service Agency actually has a couple of openings right now with the county committee. Actually, they have a couple candidates for the opening, and they include Michelle Rowe and Lisa Gretsch, and you need to get your votes in by December 2nd. That's coming up mighty quick. And we've got those two people are awesome. It's going to be an extremely difficult choice for farmers to make because both of those folks have done a lot of work with our office in implementing conservation practices. And make sure you get your vote in. You can't go wrong with those two people. Very excited. They actually, if they were in the right area, they'd make excellent SWCD supervisors too. So
It's got to get that address changed.
yeah, and you don't need to be a farmer to be a SWCD supervisor. The most recent supervisor, Justine Meyer, recently graduated. She's running a garden right now, and she does some substitute teaching at a school, a nearby school. So you do not need to be a farmer, and actually diversifying our board with males and females from different occupations, but having a passion of protecting our ag systems, our natural resources is very important.
Sure.
It's something that we want to continue at the Stearns SWCD. We've been very fortunate to have a history of fantastic supervisors, and we want to maintain that.
So you're telling me June of 2025, no Chris, no Dennis, no Mark.
Correct.
The times they are a-changing at the old
Right,
SWCD.
right.
Not just the polos either.
Yeah.
Oh, and we'll be looking at filling my position. We'll have an advertisement out next spring, and hopefully we'll have that filled before I exit in May. So hopefully we identify some good folks and keep the SWCD moving in the right direction. That's what our board.
Who's going to do Partyline? Who's gonna make the coffee?
We'll have to have Brittany. Brittany assist with that.
Promotion. I see it.
But yeah, no, that's it's exciting. I really had a great time at the SWCD. I can't imagine a better place to work. Working with the landowners of Stearns County, the team, my supervisors. It's just amazing. Very fortunate. Very fortunate.
You got the rings hung up around your office like the kids before Christmas? Just pull one off every day for the countdown?
I got a retirement calculator on my phone.
Oh, yeah. Ben, he's got an app up or something like that. So,
But, yeah, Thanksgiving's coming up just around the corner, and I'm so thankful to have the opportunity to share these stories with you on KASM, the KASM listeners, all of the landowners that have implemented conservation practices, and those landowners thinking about implementing conservation practices. Our team, Ben and Brittany, and all of the folks at our office and the supervisors. I mean, there's so much to be thankful for here this holiday season. So thank you all for the great things you're doing.
well, you ran through the hosts on Partyline over your time. Cliff, Brad, myself, Joe, and Randy probably got in there a little bit.
Yeah.
Seen it all.
Yeah, it's been great, and each and every one of you are very unique.
Thank you. We appreciate that. Dennis, Brittany, and Ben, we got to 10 o'clock. Brittany, I'll be emailing you shortly with this program. You didn't happen to bend any tines on any plows on your way up to Hackensack last weekend, did you?
No, I didn't, but I did see some excessive tillage operations. But
Rolled the window down and yelled at him, shake your fist?
Yeah.
How
What are
dare
you doing over there?
How dare you?
No, there's, and I actually saw some really a lot of residue sitting out in some of the fields too. So it's all good.
Sure.
Things are moving in the right direction.
There we go. That's what we like to hear. Well, thanks, kids. Have a great Thanksgiving. We'll talk to you guys next time, okay?
Thank you, Kirby.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You bet.